KUAM News Zoom room where we have
our local community.
Chief of Police here, right, Bree? And he's joined by Serena Salas Mentanani, who again is in quarantine at the Deuce at.
Okay. Yeah, I'm interested to find out more about what happened at the U.S. Postal Service, because that happened while I was away.
Yeah, it did. And we don't really know. I mean, and I actually reached out to the postmaster, Tammy, and she had said that she was advised not to comment on it. So I have no idea what's going on. I don't know. Maybe the chief. Chief, did you hear anything about these post office closures? 3 shots. Chief?
Yep. Hi, Chief.
Hi, Chief.
Yeah.
Morning.
Good
Morning. Have you heard anything about these post office closures, Chief?
No, I haven't heard anything. Oh, there's Chris.
Yep, I see you. Yeah, we haven't really either. There hasn't been much coming out other than they said they were performing an audit. So I guess that's what we know about that. Good morning, Chief. How are you?
Hi, good morning, Chris. Good morning, Bree. I'm fine. How are you guys doing? It's nice and warm today in my office.
Why? What happened? Oh, darn.
Oh, no.
You got to call Sergeant Baggy to come down
today?
and fix it.
Yeah, I just walked in today and it's broken. Nice and warm.
Well, let's get this over with then. We don't want you to sweat in the hot seat too much. I know Bree has a lot of tough questions for you, Bree.
Oh, well, I think we have a lot of catching up to do because when I was away, a lot of different things were making headlines. And so I just want to kind of go through and bring me up to speed with, I guess, anything new with the online gambling investigation.
No, I have not gotten an update yet from the Secret Service, and everything is still ongoing.
What about your GPD's administrative investigation?
No, like I said, other than that one name that I got, no additional names have been given to me. And so without names, we can't open investigations or move forward. Yeah.
Chief,
what about Jerry's Kitchen?
Jerry's Kitchen, no update other than the last one that I gave, which was we turned the whole investigation over to the AG's office, and I haven't heard from them since. Yeah.
What about the?
While I was away, I was reading on KUAM about random drug testing that occurred at GPD. How many officers total were tested?
You know what? I didn't get the final number yet from DOA because the drug test is administered by the Department of Administration's HR division. So I didn't get a final number, although when I did speak to them, I do know that they were not done yet because they came in on, I believe, a Tuesday to do drug tests. And so they would have to come back on a Thursday to catch the other half of the majority of the shifts. So it's my understanding that they're going to be doing additional follow-up tests for those that they missed. But when that's going to happen, I don't know. It is a random drug test, so it's not something we announce in advance. But we are trying to target at least 75% of our officers.
Wow. Chief,
So how many have tested positive?
I haven't gotten any results yet from DOA. That's the other thing I haven't gotten an answer from if anybody had tested positive.
We had heard.
So what's the go ahead, Chris?
Yeah. No, we just heard that there were a number of officers who tested positive, but you haven't received that info yet from DOA?
Bree, I can barely hear Chris. I didn't even hear the question.
Chief.
We had heard that there were several police officers that had tested positive, but you're saying that you have not gotten any results yet from the Department of Administration?
No, I have not gotten any official results from anybody from DOA. I have not received any official notification.
Have you received then, if it's not official, any phone call or anything that said,
No, none at all.
No, so what would happen then when you receive the results and you have officers who test positive? Is it a zero tolerance policy?
Yes, absolutely. We have GPD. You got to remember we've been removed from the Safe Harbor Act, So
Yeah.
we have a very tough policy on those that test positive, and so I would probably more than likely put the officer in administrative leave while we gather the evidence from the test results, and provide that officer an opportunity to present himself to the chief of police to answer as to why he tested positive, and then from there make a determination as to what the next course of action is.
But if it's zero tolerance, isn't it termination?
I am not going to presume on anything, but yeah, I mean, I've seen in other agencies, with zero tolerance policies that, a positive negative test is, pretty much your way out the door.
Yeah, but Chief,
But again, that's just working on what we see. But again, depending on what they test positive for, I mean, if they test positive for ice or marijuana, then that's a different story, as opposed to maybe if they test positive for maybe a prescribed painkiller, right? And they do have a doctor's prescription for that. That's a very different set of circumstances.
do you guys vet that, Chief? So let's
Right.
say like I'm an officer and I test positive for OxyContin or whatever. Do you then say, hey, where's your script for that?
Yeah, and one of the things we look for too is because I believe there is a requirement that if an officer is or if an employee, not an officer, but if an employee is taking a prescription painkiller, I believe there's some reporting requirements because we've got to make sure that they're not coming to work taking Tylenol 3 with codeine or oxycodone or something, and then going out and operating a patrol car, operating an official vehicle, and then getting involved in a crash. So there's a reporting requirement so that we make sure that the officers don't put themselves or the public at risk if they are taking prescription medication.
Chief, what prompted this wide scale testing? This is a big deal. Was it that hearing that you guys had where it came out that you hadn't done much testing?
No, even prior to our oversight hearing, I had been working with DOA on trying to get drug testing in place. Unfortunately, like I said, my personal officers, they come and go. And, this is something that's coordinated by the personal officer, the Guam Police. But, I've lost my personal officer again. And so, somebody had to pick up the slack with the work, and thanks to my acting personal officer, who's also my acting ASO, who's also my program coordinator for, she was able to work through this process and get it done. But, the Guam Police Department has not had a permanent personal officer since, going way back to 2015, maybe even before that. And so, I tried to hire. I've hired actually 3 personal officers, and they've all resigned from the Guam Police, moving on to other jobs. So, even with police officers, we lose them, even in the civilian side of the workforce, we do lose employees to other positions or to other agencies. And, speaking of losing police officers, I just walked in today and I found out that I'm losing 2 more police officers in the next coming weeks.
Due to
So, we're hiring them, but they're quitting, moving on to other jobs. It's my understanding that the next 2 that are quitting this week are moving on to the Navy Police. And I'm not sure what's going on down there, but I think they're doing a lot of hiring because I was speaking to another agency head, and he told me that he lost, I think, 10 or 12 officers to Navy Police.
wow.
Yeah, I also saw an announcement the other day for a police instructor being hired by Navy Police. So looks like they're ramping up. Could be the military buildup, could be other things going on. I'm not sure. But there's a lot of going on, and they're actually pulling now from local police to law enforcement agencies.
How about you, Chief?
And they're not looking for a Navy police chief, are they?
Are they? Yeah. That was our next question.
I'm not sure. I haven't seen that.
Does that come with
yet.
the base privilege, Chief?
Huh?
Do you get to shop on the base?
Yeah, they get to drive on the base.
Hey,
Patrol,
that's
Chris.
right.
Base privilege.
Right.
That's cheap, but are you like on pins and needles waiting for these results? I mean, because if police officers, pop positive, that's not a good thing.
Yeah, that's not something to take lightly. Okay, right, it's a very serious matter when your officers test positive, and so of course, just like everything else, they will be held accountable should they test positive
Chief, I wanted to ask
without a reasonable explanation.
about this DOC policy where they were not confining nonviolent offenders, right? So we heard from Major Anton that they're in the process of reversing that policy, but we had also heard from him that several officers had complained to the deputy director and other DOC staff about just being frustrated that they were making these arrests in cases, and the people they were arresting were just being turned right back out on the street because they didn't commit violent offenses, allegedly.
Yeah, so I did have a talk with Director Carbolito, and he is expanding some of the criteria for confinement because during the pandemic, of course, we got to understand that they had a serious problem up there with COVID, and people die from COVID, and he has a duty to protect his employees, but more importantly also the people that he's in charge of taking care of. And so when he implemented his confinement policies, it's something that we just have to take in stride and understand that he has a duty himself as a director to execute his mandates. And one of them, of course, is making sure that he takes care of his confinees, his prisoners, and his employees. But as we move along and we are now in PCOR 3, I believe that he has started to relax some of his confinement policies. We have worked through some of the issues. If there's some serious issues that we need to confine a person, even if it's a nonviolent, then I have called him up in the middle of the night or sometimes late at night, saying hey, Joe, we need to confine this guy, and he's gladly taking them. So that there are those instances where we do take them, but Chris, even if we do confine them, when they do get to magistrate hearing, sometimes they're released on their own recognizance,
right,
or they post bail and they're back out on the street, and then they're back out to what they're doing.
Yeah.
And so that is frustrating, not only to the police or to the Department of Corrections or to the AIDS office, but most importantly, it's frustrating to the victims of these crimes. To see that somebody that victimized them is back out on the street with the potential to either victimize someone else or victimize the same person.
Right.
And so there sometimes it feels like there is no end in sight. But regardless of how many times we book and release or book and confine, if they commit a crime, we're gonna arrest these people and put them in jail, just like we do with all other cases. And at some point, hopefully, they'll get to a point where they are actually convicted, or they get into a plea agreement and they actually do serve their time. But yeah, I understand the frustration, and that's part of what caused this discussion again is, we have our neighborhood watch groups, and they're very vigilant in what they do, and they were the ones that brought these frustrations forward, and we understood them. We understood their concerns. But like I said, we are living in a COVID environment, and we do what we can. But even if we confine them, they're back out on the street, and it's not to anybody's fault. It's just I guess the way the criminal justice system revolves.
Chief, do you have any update on the Michael Castro case? It's been several months now, and we haven't heard 7 months now, and we haven't heard anything as to his whereabouts or what happened.
No, we haven't gotten any additional leads that I'm aware of as to his whereabouts, but I can tell you that it is a very active investigation, and we have not given up hope on that case, and we still maintain constant communication, I believe, with his family. But by no means is that a closed case. It's still a very active investigation.
What about the shooting death of Juan Ogun, Chief in Manguilao?
Juan Ogun in Manguilao, again, that's still another very active investigation. I haven't gotten any updates from CID, but if there is anything that we can share, I'll definitely keep you guys updated. But there's nothing really that I can say beyond that.
Mm-hmm. Just to go back to that situation with the officers leaving to go to the Navy police, obviously it's because they're probably paying more money. I mean, why else would they leave? So are there any discussions, or do you plan on having any discussions with the governor or the oversight chair, your oversight chair, about, I don't know, raises or something to remain competitive?
Yes, I believe the governor and the lieutenant governor has stated that there is a competitive wage act study that will be undertaken, and I believe the law enforcement community is one of the priorities for that wage study. There is a bill, I believe, that is going to have a hearing. I think next week, Monday, and what it is that it proposes to have the post commission set its own pay scale, among other things. But we'll see. We'll see what the input is for that bill.
Chief, what about your American Rescue Plan wish list? Have you had discussion with the governor about getting any of that $660 million from the American Rescue Plan? And if so, what would you use it for?
I did turn in, just like every other government agency in the government of Guam, we did turn in our wish list to the American Rescue Plan. And, of course, one of the things that we put in there is continued hiring for police officers over the next 3 years, which is, I believe, the term of the American Rescue Plan. So I did put in for additional hiring. Hiring is a challenge. Let me tell you that right now. On my desk right now is this was just given to me Monday, and I'm reviewing the package. But I think I only have I started out with a list of 25. Of that 25, I think 10 or 12 of them declined, and these were people that were eligible to join the Guam Police Department. They just had to go through the process. But of that 12, above that 25, I think 10 or 12 declined. So already 50% of the list is gone. And then we had to subject them to the background, the polygraph, the psych eval. And I'm now going to review those documents, the polygraph, the background, and the psych eval. And from there, depending on whether they passed the polygraph or failed it, again, we start to whittle away. So I'd be hard pressed to even have my next training cycle of 10. I'd be lucky to get 10 from this group. And so, I've lost over 50-60% of that list, of a list of 25. 25 would have been a good number if everybody made it, or everybody agreed, to join, but they're just not interested. I don't know. I mean, is it pay? Is it the working environment? Is it the police profession that they're just not interested in anymore? But I was very surprised, that of a list of 25, I don't even have half left to go through. So it's a challenge, for me to hire people. And then I'll tell you that the last cycle that we graduated, of the 29 that we started with, I think I'm down to 18. A couple more just quit again. The ones that I said that they're quitting this week or in the next couple weeks, one of them is from the last cycle, and it's just very disheartening. We put a lot of work. It took 1 year for us to get these officers ready, or recruits ready to enter the field, and they're leaving, and so trying to stem the flow of them leaving. But like you said, if other people are paying better, this cycle that's going on right now, I started with 24, and 2 already quit. And I sit them down. It's a very informal exit interview. I sit them down and they come and see me, and I said, why need to leave? And I heard the story of one police recruit. He goes, sir, my girlfriend's pregnant, and the government of Guam, the benefits, the insurance, and everything, the salary, he didn't feel it was enough for him to sustain himself and his girlfriend, who's now pregnant. I mean, that's $11 an hour is what this young kid has to try and raise his family on. And so, he told me that he's gonna go join the active duty military service. And so I wished him well, and then I understood, probably better benefits for himself and his wife. With the military insurance, the health care, the pay maybe. Another kid, young kid, came in, and he goes, Chief, I took a pay cut when I came here, and but I wanted to be a police officer. But after 4 or 5 months in, he goes, man, Chief, I can't do it anymore. Things have changed at home, on the home front, financially, with the other members of the family chipping in. That dynamic changed, and he couldn't afford to stay here anymore. So he actually returned back to his private sector job. They took him back. So that's the kind of stories, that I have to deal with as the chief, and those are the kind of stories that I have to hear. And it is disheartening, that a person who's willing to put his life on the line and get shot at, slapped or stabbed or kicked, is getting paid $11 an hour. Yeah, so it is a problem, and it is a problem that I hope that I can work with the governor, lieutenant governor, with their wage study, hopefully to come soon, so that we can resolve this issue, because that is, it's not a lot of money, considering that somebody can shoot a gun at you or stab you for $11 an hour.
Sergeant Baggy has a comment in here on our Facebook feed, Chief. He says, can GPD propose a disclaimer that when hired and trained, they commit to 5 years of service before they're able to resign?
Yeah. It's really sad, And we try and move all our people around to make up for the shortage, but I don't know if the community understands, that this is really the challenge that we face as the staff officers at the Guam Police, is trying to move everybody around to accommodate all the shortfalls, and there's a shortfall, and we're trying to keep them in, but there's certain things that I can't control, and salary is one of them.
Yeah, that's really sad. $11 an hour, and every day your life is on the line. Maybe they should work as a social media. What is that job?
Digital consultant manager or something. Yeah.
That's gotta be a slap in the face to every police officer.
Yeah, the priorities. I don't know.
Anyway.
Chief, what about checkpoints? You guys have any checkpoints coming up soon?
I'll check with Highway Patrol. I know we haven't had the checkpoints yet, but I know we are funded by the federal grants as well for checkpoints, and something that we probably need to start doing if we do have federal grant funding, because we need to meet the mandates before September ends. But I do know that we have been doing the speed traps, so those have been very active recently. So we're trying to get back again to, like everybody else, the new normal.
Yeah.
The graduation season is upon us, so we've actually been getting a lot of requests now from different educational institutions to assist with the graduations. I know the big one we got coming up, I believe, is probably this weekend, if I'm not mistaken. GCC, they're having a drive-through graduation, so we're helping with the traffic control and that.
Right on, Chief. Anything in closing?
Excuse me?
Anything in closing that you want to share?
Yeah, Chris, I'd like to thank you and Bree again for having me on your show. As always, it's always good to be on and to give you guys an update. Yeah. Just to the community again, thank you for all your support. Thank you for your support of the police officers, to the men and women who come in every day. I thank you very much from the bottom of my heart for all that you do to keep our community safe. I'm really, truly grateful for that.
Thank you.
We thank them too. Thank you, Chief.
Yep. Thank you, Bree. Thank you, Chris.
Okay.
Take care.
Hope that aircon gets fixed.
Yeah, me too.
Okay, so. All right, there you go. 9:35. What a bummer.
I know.
Losing officers left and right to higher pay on the base, right? Just really can't compete. And it's not even a new problem, right, Bree? I mean, I know that usually it's the guard or the military that they lose people to.
Yeah, and it sounds like they're losing again to the military, like you mentioned. You know, you got to support your family, pay to stay.
Got to do what you got to do. It is what it is. 9:35. Quick break, and we're coming back with Jason Solis. Hey, ladies, get ready for this next interview with a Breaking Wave Theater. 9:36. More of the link next.
Uno Go, delivering meals from your favorite restaurant.